What's going on, guys? Chris here. Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, definitely consider subscribing, as that helps me out a lot, and drop a like down below, as based on the algorithm, that'll promote this video to more people. So based on the title, you already know what this is about. We're doing a color grading tutorial for the Canon R6, or basically Canon R cameras so far. Yes, the color science is a little bit different between each R camera, the R5, the R, and the R6, but I do think the R6 has the worst of the color sciences, so this technique should definitely work for all the other cameras, and basically almost any camera that shoots in some sort of log. So this is the clip I'm going to be editing. It's just a short 4K 60 frames per second clip of my girlfriend in front of this colorful wall, so you can definitely see how the colors are going to come out. Please don't mind the fact that my screen is really dirty. I just don't have any microfiber cloths with me right now. So yeah, let's get right into this. So right off the bat, let's just go over the settings. This is a 4K 60 10-bit clip from the Canon R6 shot in C-Log. It looks really beautiful in log already. I really like the log look, but let's give it some more contrast and some more color. And let's color grade it basically the way I would color grade it. Okay, so we are recording here. So yes, this is the clip. It is a 4K 60 clip, as I mentioned before. I'll just play it out for you. This also shows the power of the M1 MacBook Pro, as the previous MacBook Pros wouldn't be able to play this HEVC file. So yes, we have this here. It's already slowed down. Now I'm just gonna pick a frame where she doesn't look weird, like this one. And then we'll start with the process. Okay, so the first thing I do is I go to Window, go to Workspace, and go to Color and Effects. This just opens up some tools that I'll be using. Basically only one tool I use. And this one tool is gonna allow me to get my correct exposure. So basically what I do now is go to View, I click 1 so that I only display 1, and then I choose Luma. Luma is basically the brightness. As you can see, there's a little spike here in the middle, and basically what that is the white in her shirt. So as you adjust the lighting, these will move up and down, and we're gonna get right into that. So first things, you have your color, you have your saturation, you have your exposure. First thing I do is I go to exposure, and then I go to the highlights. This white one is the highlights, which basically is the bright parts of the image. The gray is the midtones, the black is the shadows, and then this is basically everything. So first thing I wanna do is create some contrast. So if you look at this Luma cube, as you adjust these, you see it move up and down. So the important thing is not to clip the whites or crush the blacks too much. So let's get started here. So the first thing I do is I bring up the highlights first. And if you see, if I go all the way to the max, at the top here, there's a flat line, it's crushed it, which means this part of the image is too bright. So that's the center. So what I do is I bring it down just a bit past 100. So this basically guarantees that I have a pretty decent exposure on my shot, and everything is gonna look pretty good. So next thing I do is go to the shadows. And what I do is the opposite. I go down at the shadows. And I basically play this game where I'm looking at the clip itself as well as the Luma form here, just to make sure that I'm not crushing too much. And then obviously I look to the right to make sure the image looks the way I want it to look. So I'm gonna bring it down, and I think I'll stop about here. Now, as you can see, this picture already looks really good. The contrast is pretty, the color's already starting to pop just because we added that strong contrast. And we haven't gone too past far zero, so we really haven't crushed too many blacks. Now this is already the first step. This is what I do all the time to all my clips to bring it basically from that C-Log, the grayish look, to that Rec 709 kind of look. So basically if I take it off, you see this is the before and this is the after. And theoretically, you could leave it like this if you wanted, but I do like saturation a bit. So what I do is then I move over to the saturation tab here, and what I used to do is bring up the saturation of the whole picture, but what I did find is that it kind of breaks the image a bit too soon. So what I do is I bring up the saturation in the midtones. And doing this makes it feel a little bit more natural, and it doesn't become all deep fried, as we say in the meme world, as quickly. So this is basically what I do. I move it and I play with it up and down to see how much I like, depending on the mood of the video, how saturated I want it to be. I think, well, this is a good amount. I like saturation, I like contrast, so this is pretty much how I would color. And so if you want to see the before, then this is the after. And you can see in the Luma form, we've really stretched the colors out, and we've made the whites whiter and the blacks blacker than before. If you see, yeah, this is very, compressed, really subdued, and then this is the more expanded pretty image. And this is basically what I do for most of the time. This is what I do for most clips. Now I'm gonna show you something that I do specifically for Canon R6 footage. I did it on my last video, and let me show you what that is. So basically I'm gonna delete this. I'm gonna I want a new color board here for this clip. Now, the first thing I'm gonna do is load up a custom LUT. I already have it here. It's called Neutral 512. Now this is basically my Onyx preset, which is what I use for pretty much all my Instagram pictures. What it does is it basically boosts the reds and the warmer colors, and it subdues kind of the greens and the yellows. Because I feel like the Canon R6 has a little bit of a green color to it, which I don't like. And then I bring this to about 0.3, 0.2, so I'm gonna do 0.25 here. At this point, then I start to color it how I would regularly color it. So I bring up the highlights, and I bring down the shadows, and then I up the saturation a bit. Now, similar to the other image, it looks pretty good. It looks generally pretty good, but what it's done is it kind of reduced the power of the greens, because like I said before, I see a lot in the skin tones. R6 gives a natural greenish look, which I personally don't like for the skin. It doesn't really look healthy. I like warmer colors. So this basically just removes a little bit of the greens, and I can play with it. If I wanted to remove more, I just increase the intensity, but then you kind of start to lose the image in general. So I keep it between 2.25 and 0.3. So this is pretty much it. This is my process to color grading Canon R6 or R footage or log footage if you want. Hopefully this was informative to you. Very quick video. Chris here, welcome back to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.